viewer. I would like to introduce first Caleb Robertson. Thank you so much for being here and agreeing to be here tonight. Also, Minister Malvester Muhammad is here. Both of these gentlemen have decided to come and have this discussion tonight. I think, Caleb, it's safe to say that you have actually wanted to have a discussion with Minister Malvester for how long now?
For sure, I would say earlier in the year, maybe about February, Malvester actually agreed to come on TV with me. And, you know, we have our program, What Does the Bible Say? And so we were going to provide an hour of airtime. And we've never been unfair with anybody that has come on, but for some reason Malvester didn't show up. And so I've been waiting a while, but I know that when he and Dad had their discussion, it took about 10 years.
What was the reluctance with having a discussion with Caleb and Johnny?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yes, I wanted the right setting, and I didn't want to go on his program, just like I didn't go on his father's program. And yes, it was about 10 years before me and your father sat down and had a debate. We had a couple of debates, but we had the right setting at the right time in the right place.
All right, well, let's do it. But before we do that, we want to lay out some groundwork and a foundation and some rules to follow, not only on the set, but also for our viewers as well. I'm sure you all want to join in the discussion by way of phone calls, and we will allow you to do so. But both men have agreed that we should set up a foundation and also set some rules as it relates to this discussion tonight. So both Caleb, both Minister Malvester have both understood that we are going to give first Caleb the opportunity to address an issue with you that he has as it relates to your religion. We will allow you to respond to Caleb. We're going to give him 5 minutes for that, and as well you 5 minutes, and then we will go from there. Okay. Both have an understanding, no interruptions of each other. We are hoping that each of you will allow the other to speak in the 5 minutes that you have. Can I have someone to give us a time as well? If you could, we have Pastor Edwards that's here. All right.
I got 7:10.
Okay, so at 7:15, we're going to start now with Caleb. Give him to 7:16, and then Minister Malvester will of course give him a rebuttal in his response. All right? All right, so Caleb, I know that for many years that you've had a particular issue, and on your show, it's no secret that you've called Minister Malvester out several times, even recently. So what is the issue that the Church of Christ has, not only personally, but as it relates to the Nation of Islam?
As it relates to the Nation of Islam, I'm confused basically just on the way that we've had these discussions in the past, really what it is that Malvester wants. Like I'm saying, if he got everything that he wanted out of this book, Elijah Muhammad's Message to the Black Man, what would his end goal be? What does he actually want to get out of it?
All right, well, okay.
You yielding to me?
Yeah.
What I have never had before, the truth about myself, and the truth about my people, and the truth about my oppressor. You have to know the truth about both people, otherwise you're not ready for the deal with one another. See, if I know the truth about you and know the truth about myself, then I can't be deceived no more. The only way you can deceive me is keep me ignorant. And Elijah Muhammad gave us a message that will free us, and it will free you all too.
Okay, so when you say to be basically aware of, educated about who I am, who am I? I'm saying, what do you really think about not just me, but white people?
I think white people have wronged us tremendously. I think that, and then the reason they wronged us because we had to go to sleep so that they could rule for 6,000 years. If we hadn't went to sleep, you couldn't have ruled us. So at the end of that 6,000 years, a man had to be raised up to wake us up, so that we can deal with the problem that's going on today.
And so what he just said to me is, if they hadn't gone to sleep, and he means the entire black people.
Yes.
If the entire black people hadn't gone to sleep, whites could not have put black people into slavery. But if actually, is it not the case that if the black scientist, Yaqub, had not made the white race, we wouldn't have had to put y'all to sleep?
You're right. I have to agree with you on that.
Okay, now why is it the case that today, out of your book, you're basically saying on Elijah Muhammad says, the black people of America have been swallowed by the slave masters, who are a race of devils. And then he says, Allah must go to war against the enemy and break the enemy's power of resistance to free us. And he says, war is inevitable. So I'm saying today, why did y'all create us? if we're just going to have this war back and
That's
forth?
a good question, and I'm glad you asked that question. You know, when God created the heavens and the earth, and He created the universe, He had a wobble in it, and on the axle is a wobble, and the number 6 is the number of us, and it's the number of you all, but there's a wobble there, and that's why we had to bring you all out of us so we could see what was in us.
Okay, so
And we brought you all out, and y'all have did what we made y'all to do. And now your time is up for that. It's no longer needed. So therefore, God now.
What time is up? If you can make it clear to us, what time is up?
The time for them to turn us inside out. They have turned us. They brought a God over here and turned them inside out and turned them around. And now, and you turn God backwards. What you got? Dog. And you hear a lot of something. What's happening, dog? What's happening, dog? Because the white man made us out of backwards of God. When you turn God backwards, you are long ways from God. And that's what they have did to us. And now somebody got to come and turn us back to God. You understand? So that we can become now the real fathers and the real mothers of civilization.
So what happens basically to me and any other white person, I'm saying, because this is what I asked what your end goal was, and I didn't really get an answer out of that, so I just...
Well, let's establish that, because we need to establish that before we can go further. So what is the end goal from his original question?
The end goal to what he asks is for us to come back into our rightful position and save the world, because we are the saviors of the world.
How do we come back into our rightful position?
Into our right mind. See, mind and brain is different. You know, we went to a white school and we took in a white mind. So we're not really black. So that's why he said the message to the black man. Because man is not color, man is not flesh, man is a mindset. You understand? So until you bring that right mindset, he could be black too if he got the right mind. See, it's not about skin color, it's about truth.
Not according to his book, I could never be.
Now, it's a guy named Father Flagan. He black as I don't know what, but he white.
And so, now what does that mean?
That mean, you know what black represent? The scales of justice got black on. The scale of justice is blind. See, when you're blind, you depend on other people, so you're nice to everybody you meet, because you want them to treat you right. And then when my eyes open up, I see you, I say, oh, back up, right? Because of when we look at it, we've been taught. See, we've been taught about God in the wrong way.
Can I respond?
Yes, sir.
Now, he's saying I'm white, obviously, but I could become black. So if
wait a minute.
Wait a minute. But remember, gentlemen, I have to ask you to not talk over each other. So and vice versa. Both of you cannot
he's been
talk
doing
over
most
each
of
other.
talking. Now, in Message to the Black Man, it says Muhammad was told that he could not reform the devils that the race had 1,400 more years to live. So actually, Muhammad was told, I can't be changed. And what he means by that is, actually, this book also says that the white people, they cannot produce good, for they are without the nature of good. So there's no hope for me. That's what I'm saying.
Now, yes, go ahead.
Well, now, see, Malcolm painted the picture like that. He didn't leave no door open for you all.
Malcolm
but
X.
Malcolm did.
Malcolm's not with y'all anymore.
Wait a minute.
But wait a minute, allow him to finish his statement.
Let me say what I'm saying. Malcolm, he shut the door on white people. Minister Farrakhan don't do that. We leave a door open. Why? Because if your nature, the nature is what you think and what you do, right? And Yaku gave y'all a mind to rule, and that's what y'all do. Y'all do that very well.
Who is y'all and who is y'all?
Caucasian people.
Caucasians. Okay.
They were made to rule. And you know what? Right now, if God came and knocked on the door at the White House and said, "Now I'm taking over," they wouldn't bow. They going out with a fight. That's the way they were made to be. So that's why he says a battle in the sky. God and the devil. They're not going to surrender. They're not going to submit.
You're talking about Caucasians?
The ones running this world. They're not going to submit to God.
I want to ask Caleb
and they building up weapons to fight with God.
Now,
do you feel that Caucasians, and thank you so much, we're getting ready to finish this first segment. Before we finish that segment to go to commercial break, do you feel that whites have had an advantage, or is what we have called even white privilege, even as it relates to what Minister Malvester is saying?
Well, to a degree, but I'm not going to say that it's our fault. Now,
You said to a degree, though.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
want you
yeah,
to
for
expound.
sure, for
I want you
sure.
to expound on that.
I'm
then.
saying, like, the fact that, yes, in America, back in, I'm saying 1800s, the black community was enslaved. And then even you come up out of that, and then you basically have where they
We
don't,
haven't come out of it.
and then you don't have your full rights. But then now I'm saying you do get to a point where we do have the civil rights movement, but this is the thing. Now I'm saying to a degree based on history, but that is not where it started. So I'm going to now quote from somebody outside of Message to the Black Man, and this is William Edward Du Bois. Now, a lot of people just know him by his initials, W.E.B. Du Bois. And in his book, The Negro, he says, he's making a chart on page 107, it begins, The Trade in Men. First, he says, color was never a badge of slavery in the ancient or medieval world. And then he goes on to say that the modern slave trade began with the Mohammed conquest in Africa. So I'm not going to say that about white privilege, that it's just entirely the white people's fault. And he actually wrote this in 1915 before Elijah Muhammad came on the scene. Now, how is it the case that this man who is black, he says it started with the Muslims? And he basically says the Negro kingdoms and tribes rose to power as they found the slave trade lucrative and natural, since the raids in which slaves were captured were ordinary intertribal wars anyway.
We want Minister Malvesta
You know
to
what?
respond.
That right there is, in that book, he said that we need a re-education of the Negro, too. That's in that book. In that book you got, right? So the point is this. A lot of our scholars went to white schools, and they draw their mind from white scholars, right? But W.D. Du Bois woke up. And when he woke up, that's why they sent him away. They sent him away. So yeah, because this part right here is part of what he learned from white scholars, right?
Yes, but W.B. Du Bois became a Muslim.
Did he become a Muslim?
Yeah.
He was already a Muslim. He just wasn't conscious.
Okay, so this is the thing, community.
All black people
basically, when a black person disagrees with Malvesta, he says, well, they're just a Muslim that hadn't woke up. And at some point in time, does it sound like W.E.B. Du Bois agrees with what he's teaching? That Allah is going to come make war with the white devils? He's saying that Allah started the slave trade. Now, this is 1915, and he says that the Muhammad and Africa, well, who is Muhammad? I'm saying, Jessica, this is the thing, too. I can't be getting notes from the audience while I'm up here with my
That's fine. The audience can refrain until 7:30 to ask your questions. Thank you.
And I'm saying that, too. That's to the community. I mean, Malvesta comes in, he's got spokesmen with him, and he didn't come to the show by himself. I'm here by myself, and I'm using people that are non-Muslims, non-Islamic, blaming Muhammad.
But I need to make it clear. They actually came on their own because they knew that this discussion would take place tonight. So they actually
I'm not saying about them being here. I'm saying about them basically commenting.
You secure in what you're in?
Oh, for sure, because I'm not the one up here being racist.
Don't worry about it. But the thing
That's right. Somebody gasped about me calling Malvesta a racist. 100%.
Why do you call Malvesta?
If I'm a racist because I stand up for my people, I'll be a racist.
Okay.
But let me ask this before, and we've got to take a break. But why do you call Minister Malvesta a racist?
Because the religion is racist. I'm going to ask you, Jessica, personally. Do you appreciate what Martin Luther King Jr. did?
Absolutely.
I do too. Let me read what Elijah Muhammad said. Now he's ready to jump in. Let me read what Elijah Muhammad said about Martin.
And then we have to let him
All right, but Martin Luther King.
Go ahead.
He says on integration in the South, therefore Mr. King is making a fool of himself in the South and is acting like a dog around the house where the master stands at the door and the dog wants something to eat. He just waddles all around the door, around the master's feet, whipping his tail on the ground and grinning and leaning his ears back to his neck to show that he's a good, peaceful dog.
I want you to respond.
Now, you know what? At that time, I agree with that because when Martin first come out, they made him a leader. But when Martin woke up, he went to see the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1965. And when he talked to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Martin Luther King started talking like a man, and that's why they killed him. They killed him because he stopped. Martin Luther King said, yes, he did. I got pictures of it. I don't have it with me, but if I knew you was coming that way, I would have had a picture to show you. That Martin met with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's old saying to say, if the mountain don't come to Muhammad, Muhammad will come to the mountain.
And we're getting a message to take a break, and we need to take our breaks again. To our audience that's here to support, just remember that we won't start taking your discussion, comments, and questions until 30. We have Caleb Robertson, Minister Malvesta Muhammad. Hold tight to that rebuttal.
Okay.
Hold tight, hold it, and we'll be right back, and we'll let him address it. Stay tuned. All right, can you all hear now?
Martinsville, Henry County has a real vape store now.
Joe Cheap, for those who are serious about vapes, we've got the Alien, the Cool Fire, and more. Check them out. Joe Cheap, located in the Holiday Shopping Center right across the street from Comfort Inn and just down the street from Hollywood Mountain.
Joe Cheap, the #1 vape store in Martinsville, Henry County.
Watch me pull a sale out of my hat.
The deals at Carpetland USA are magic. Don't miss these savings.
Now buy with your choice of 1, 2, or 3-year special financing. Pay your way for new carpet, hardwood, laminate, tile, or vinyl floors. Or save $100, $200, up to $300 on your new floors. Plus, get $89 carpet installation, 1 room or a whole house of carpet installed for just $89. Pay your way and save.
For my next trick,
I can make you disappear. Get the best and spend less at Carpetland USA.
The good news is we're living longer. The bad news is that more of us will need at-home health care or nursing home care. Hi, I'm Ward Armstrong.
And I'm Courtney Armstrong. If you're concerned about the cost of nursing home care or that you or your parents might lose your home or savings, come see us.
There are lots of things that we can do to prevent or reduce the loss of assets if you or a loved one has to go into a nursing home or needs home health care.
But you must plan and take action.
So give us a call. The initial consultation on elder law planning is free. The number's on the screen. We're Armstrong and Armstrong, attorneys at law.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card?
We're going to address some of the questions that are coming through on our live feed, and we're again going to give the individuals that are here an opportunity to speak too, since they're part of the phone calls, the live feed, and they're here. But we want to go back to Caleb Robertson and also Minister Malvesta Muhammad. Before we took a break, you were in the middle of your rebuttal to Caleb, so we'll allow you to finish that, Minister.
Yeah, see, I agree with everything that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote. You know, when Martin Luther King first started off, he was trying to take us into something that he thought there was freedom, justice, and equality in it. But he learned that it wasn't. That's why he said that he was fearing that he was carrying his people in a burning house, right? And that's when he met with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught him the truth about Caucasian and about himself. And then that's when Martin said, I've been to the mountaintop. I've seen into the promised
so
land.
why don't we have any speeches of Martin Luther King promoting the Nation of Islam doctrine that we're white?
Oh, he would have. They hadn't killed him.
Who killed him?
The government and Caucasian people.
So
because of the fact that Martin Luther King was, you know, what a man get as powerful as him, and then suppose he'd have come to the nation, he'd have brought all the black people with him. Don't you know, it'd have been
so
over
why
then.
didn't he actually come to the nation? I'm saying you're basically getting him as close as he could, but he never got there. And you've got this veiled comment about Martin Luther King said, I've come to the mountain, and that's all we've got?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about Malcolm X, who just flat out said that Elijah Muhammad was the reason that blacks were killing blacks? He said if Elijah Muhammad would raise his hand, he could stop it. Now, who killed Malcolm X?
You know what? If any man could raise his hand and stop people from killing one another, I would love for them to do it.
Who killed Malcolm X?
The government.
So the government is just to blame for everything.
The same people.
That's not what Muhammad Ali said.
Listen. The same people that killed Martin, killed Malcolm, killed Kennedy. The same people did that. You know what, Muhammad Ali, I never heard him ever say anything like that.
You want to hear it?
Can you find that information?
You might can find something, but you know, because Muhammad Ali changed, and before he passed away, he sold his name out.
Isn't that significant, y'all?
He did.
Everything is like at just the last little bit. You don't have any real.
He sold his name out, and he gave them the rights.
Let's not talk over each other.
You don't have any evidence that Martin Luther King ever became a full Nation of Islam member. You got that little veiled comment, and now when I bring up Muhammad Ali says that Elijah Muhammad killed Malcolm X, then what does he say? Well, before Muhammad died, he gave up the nation. How is it that it's never clear and cut? But what is clear cut is Elijah Muhammad's book, Message of the Black Man, that says we're white devils. He says that my pale skin and my blue eyes tells black men and women that in those blue and green eyes there just cannot be any sincere love and friendship. Now, how cut and dry?
Okay. Now, if you was a black man, you wouldn't even talk like that. You talking like that because you privileged. You're in a country that have mistreated us, destroyed us, and then today when we stand up, you come and try to bring out all kind of angles and any person you can bring up to discredit the truth. Don't you know? That Muhammad Ali, he might have said some things because of the fact he wanted to get a position, and then he sold his name. And don't you know that right now his family get 20%, and the people in power get 80% of his royalties right now, and that's why he did that. So you got to understand, just like Abernathy, he didn't want to say nothing against Martin Luther King, but they told him, said, look, if you know people want to hear something, put something in there to make people want to read the book. And then Abernathy had to put one little thing in there saying something against his brother. You understand? That's the way this world's set up. This world is set up for one of us to come and they use one of us to beat our own people like they did in slavery. They always had Uncle Tom. I don't want to call him an uncle, a Tom, to do y'all dirty work. That's the thing. And look, he woke up too.
He is not a Muslim.
He woke up too, and he said that the re-education of the Negro. Don't you know?
No. W.E.D. Du Bois says you could not find.
No, that was Apology Woodson. I'm wrong
Negro.
on that.
He said that we have become so diverse in our breeding. He said we have become so broad that you will never go back to 100% African.
All right.
So he's saying just be a citizen.
And guys, I'm going to have to ask you as we are moving along with the conversation, because we don't want to stay stuck on this
he
this
get more
topic.
time to blame. You get more time to blame
than me.
Whole
bunch of talking. Can I respond to what he
Who was he blaming? Who was he blaming?
What he trying to do is build a case off of lies.
Who's lying?
And all of them lies. And yes, and to the end of his time. Yes. Martin Luther King started off the same way. Yeah. Don't you know? But at the end of his time, he woke up. You know what? You know why we favor you all? Because we got a white mind. We have been educated by you all. Every book we read come from you all. You understand? So now when the truth come to us, the message to the black. Now all the books in the school, the whole school system is racist. Okay. If you had a wet rag and you squeeze that rag, every drop come out would be racism.
Really?
That's what the school is set up. And the first time I went to school, I heard that George Washington never told a lie.
Minister Malvesta, I got you. Then we're going to give him an opportunity to respond before we take our break. Go ahead real quickly.
that anything I would put out or white people would put out would be racist. Now, I'm reading from Elijah Muhammad say that white people cannot be sincere. They cannot.
That's right.
Here you go.
And you got that habit.
Wait a minute. Now, here I'm going to read something.
You got that habit right now.
Hold on, we'll let him read. Go ahead, and then I have a question for you.
Absolutely, this is a racist statement, but I'm going to read something.
It's not racist. It's the truth. Truth is not racist.
It says here, I'm reading from, this is 1861. He says, if it is not the best for the Negro as well for the white man, then the inferior as well as the superior race, it is a wrong principle.
I have a question. Okay, I have a question, though.
This is by the vice president of the Confederate Party. His name is Alexander Stephens. I disagree with that. I'm saying this man was a racist. I oppose the rebel flag on this principle, that is what it's founded on, that the black man is a lesser race than the white man.
I have a question for both of you.
White racism, and I oppose what is actually black racism.
So what is the totality of your issue then?
And
I'm going to have to ask you guys both to please just respect me as the host to allow me to finish my statement as well, and then let's not interrupt each other. But what is your, because we've gone over so many different things, even in the 30 minutes, but what is your core issue as it relates now to Minister Malvesta and the nation?
Okay, my problem, I have to basically get some time to read this. This is what Malvesta wants. In the book, it says, what do the Muslims want? He says, this is point number 5, we want freedom for all believers of Islam now held in federal prisons. We want freedom for all black men and women now under death sentence in innumerable prisons in the North and the South. So just because they're Muslim, they're getting released from prison. Even if they deserve to be there, they're being released from prison. He says, we want a nation for ourselves. We want the government of the United States to exempt our people from all taxation. We want equal education. We want all black children educated and taught and trained by their own teacher. We believe that intermarriage or race mixing should be prohibited. We believe that the offer of integration is a hypocritical offer and is made by those who are trying to deceive the black people. Now, the point that I'm making is he wants us to go completely backwards. He wants us to have absolute segregation again.
Okay, are you finished?
My time.
So now we have to allow Minister Malvesta time.
Now, how did America start? Didn't they empty the jails out in Europe and send a number of robbers and thieves and murderers over here? Why did they let them out of jail? See, you want to sit up and talk to us like we stupid or something, right? You know, you got to understand one thing. America, all the people that came here was people from jails. They turned the jails loose and send you over here. And that's why the Bible say this man left Jerusalem and come to Jericho. And Jericho means a state of confusion. And he was hit in the head. That's us. Was hit in the head so hard. And then the priest came and looked at us, and he walked on by. That's the Christian Pope, right? And then the Levite came and looked at us, and he shook his head and went on. That's a Jewish priest, right? So nobody cared about us, nobody. But the Good Samaritan came in. And when he came in, see, you want to listen to what I'm saying? He's trying to. When the Good Samaritan came in, he poured oil in the wound, and that one that he poured the oil in the wound was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he told them he met with, Master Fard Muhammad met with quite a few presidents. You understand? He told them, if you take care of him, if you treat him right, then on my return, I will bless you.
Okay.
And you look at what's going on in America right now. Is America being blessed? Everything now is going haywire because God now coming to put us back in power. He will put the bottom rail on the top. And
do you agree with that?
On the bottom.
What he's saying in his closing statement?
No.
Especially
the Bible.
Hold on.
He spewed a whole lot of stuff out. I want to deal with it.
We will, but we do need to take a break. We've got to take a break, and I know that our time goes by so fast. We are going to open up our phone line.
And I want to say something right here with Donald Elijah Muhammad said.
Hold on tight to it. Caller, could you hold on, please? We'll take your phone call after the break. We've got to take a break. I understand. We've got to take a break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
That's good.
Gentlemen have understood that this is what we're going to do to make it fair. Some people on our live feed don't feel that things are being articulated clearly and even intelligently, and it's probably because looks like we're going back and forth. But what we're going to do, we're going to allow each gentleman to give us 5 minutes each, and before we do that, we'll take a call real quickly. Good evening, caller. Welcome to the show. Please turn your... Okay, but I need you to turn your television or your feed down so we can hear you without the feedback.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joshua.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I want the white guy. I want to ask him a question. It's clear about how he feels about Malvesta, but I want to know what would be his take. What is his take with the whites assimilating to blacks? They listen to our music. Would he be okay? My question is, would he be okay with white women marrying black men?
Yes.
Would he be okay with a black president? What is his take on blacks in positions of power and with blacks having children with white women?
Yeah.
Is he okay with that?
Okay, I'm going to quote out of the Bible.
Would he be okay with his daughter being with a black man?
Yes, I'm going to quote out of the Bible. In Acts 17, verse number 26, it says, God hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds thereof their habitation, that they should seek the Lord, if haply they might feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. I don't have a problem with a white man marrying a black woman or vice versa. Whenever I have children, if
your daughter bringing a black man home as her husband?
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
You wouldn't?
My biggest concern is if I have a daughter, if she marries a Christian or not. That's my biggest concern. I don't care what color skin is. Is he a Christian?
Okay. Fair enough.
All right, thank you so much. So this is what we're going to do at this point. Minister Malvesta has now, with our timer, 5 minutes to finish his statement and rebuttal, of course, to Caleb. And then Caleb will in turn have 5 minutes, and then we'll move from there. We're going to call time with our timekeeper. Go ahead, Minister Malvesta.
I'm a defend white folks now because of the fact if I was a white man, I wouldn't want a black man marrying my daughter because of the fact I wouldn't see myself no more. Because once we touch things, we change it, and you won't see yourself as a Caucasian no more. Since God allowed you here, you should keep your woman so that you can stay the way you look. If we come in, don't you know we made you, we can erase you. You understand? All we got to do is have sex. We can erase all white folks from the planet. Now, if you want that, that's so be it. But I want to say that, and I understand what the Klan's saying. They want to keep their woman. I agree with that, and we don't want you all messing with ours either. But now, listen to this. Now, this is it. Our Savior has arrived. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote. He said there is white people in Europe who believe in Islam. They are Muslims by faith, not by nature. They believe in righteousness and have tried and are still trying to practice the life of righteousness, Muslims, because their faith is in Islam. Allah, God, bless them, and they will see the hereafter. That's what I'm trying to tell you now. With the nature that you have, you won't make it in the hereafter. But it's some white folks, and you want to read all the things. This book right here will help you, and you should take it and read it to your people so your people can save themselves. Because this book right here, it saved me, it'll save you, it'll save the whole world. Because Satan deceived the whole world. And this revelation that's coming from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad will save the whole world. This man of sin, once he entered into the world, he calls all men to sin. And we can go back to this part of the Bible where Genesis, second chapter, I think, where it said, let us make man. Who you think they was talking about? And who you think was making man? Let us make man in our image and our likeness. I want you to explain that.
Well, you still have 5 minutes. We want you to continue. Just hold that thought, Caleb.
I want him to deal with that part right there. And then
yes, under
that, the 27th verse, it says, so God created man in his own image and his own likeness. So who was these people making this man? God don't make things. God create things. So the created man, you have to know one thing, that God God created the tree, and the white man cut the tree down and made a cross. God didn't make no cross. All of that right there is what happened when white folks started ruling. The 27th verse says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created him. Male and female created them. But up in the 26th verse it said, so God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. This is what I want you to understand, that we were making you all. It was 60,000 of us. With Yaku made 59,000 of us. With Yaku made 60,000 on the island called Paling or Patmos. I'm not saying this out of hatred. I'm telling you the truth. And that's why this world hate the truth, because they don't want us to know. They don't want nobody to know that they haven't been here for 6,000 years. We started making them in the year 8004, and they come on the planet in 9,000. And since they've been here, they have been causing havoc. They was in the caves for 2,000 years until Musa came up and freed them. That's why the people in power right now, they love Moses. They love him because Musa didn't go over in Egypt and free no people in bondage. That happened here. That never happened over in the East. And you can't find no book showing a record that that happened over there. So we have to understand, I'm here to straighten out the lie. And you keep on trying to push the lie because people know the lie. You understand? But you know what, when God comes, do you think he'll tell you what you know or what you don't know? And the point is, he'll tell you what you don't know. And that's why God withheld the knowledge from the wise and prudent men of this world and gave babes. We are the babes. You all have been ruling, and you all supposed to be wise, but you're not. But you have been ruling, and you have used us to build your world. We built this world, and we still holding it up right now because of the fact that you all couldn't rule. You couldn't rule without us.
All right, time.
Okay.
All right, now, Caleb, we'll allow you 5 minutes. As the timer starts, then you start.
Oh.
And go ahead, Caleb. 5 minutes.
One thing that I would encourage everybody to notice is that he went to the book of Jesus, and he basically starts showing you so-called contradictions, because the word created, God creates, and the book says made. I'm going to read Elijah Muhammad again, and he says, we believe in the truth of the Bible, but we believe that it has been tampered with and must be reinterpreted so that all mankind will not be snared by the falsehoods that have been added to it. Now, he starts quoting the book. He doesn't even believe the book. He says that we have it so twisted. He's trying to get in my time. I got 5 minutes. He says, white people have the Bible so twisted by adding and taking out of the truth that it takes only God or one whom God has given the knowledge of the book to understand it. I'm white. I do not have that knowledge. This book says by nature I cannot do good things. Now, what I'm saying is my problem is just at the page number 2 of Message of the Black Man, he says, talking about Christianity, there should be a law made and enforced upon such teachers until they have been removed from the public. There is no room for me. I'm not going to convert to the Nation of Islam. So, number one, strike against me, number one, is I'm white. Number two, I'm a Christian. And he says that he wished that my type of teaching out of the Bible would be outlawed. Now, this is the thing I'm saying. He wants an entire nation for the black community where they have their own schools for black people, blacks only, and basically no intermarriage, and he doesn't want to pay taxes. He wants the government to fund every bit of it. Never going to happen. So this is the thing. This is what I'm saying. That'll never happen. Now, this is my problem going past that. He does not believe, this is what I'm saying. I asked him at the beginning of this program, what is his end goal? What's his end game? Islam teaches an eternal heaven for the righteous, for hell is not eternal. These, heaven and hell, are not necessary places, but they are conditions. So this is the thing. Y'all, this will never happen. The black community is never going to get its own nation separate from America. Now, Elijah Muhammad encourages black people to go back to Africa. So, I mean, maybe for that. But we should be dwelling together peacefully. Galatians chapter 6, verse number 10 says we should do good to every man. I promote that. White, black, Hispanic. And now you don't read anything hardly about in the Hispanic community in this book. It's all about the black community. But this is the thing. Heaven is not real. So even if you get the entire nation that you want, and the education system that Elijah Muhammad wants, you don't have heaven, and you don't have here, because he actually is going to say,
Minister Abel,
he's going to say this in the Message of the Black Man, you must forget ever seeing the return of Jesus. You are really foolish to be looking to see the prophet Jesus. He says in this book that Jesus is a dead man, just like Moses, who cannot hear your prayers. Now the point of it is, You will never go to heaven. So you have this world, and basically the racist agenda that's in this book is not going to happen. And why stick with something that's going to lose, and then you don't even have the possibility of going to heaven because Jesus Christ, the Christ, is really not the Messiah. Malvester does not even believe that Jesus died on the cross. He does not believe that he is the Christ. When you read about the promise of Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, he says that's blacks in America. There is no spiritual salvation in the Nation of Islam because there is no such thing.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. There is no such thing as heaven or hell to them. They say it's just your mind condition. Now, if you would become a Christian, people do me wrong all the time. I mean, that's white privilege. I still have people that treat me bad, and I don't think it has anything to do with me being white. I think a lot of people, and I'm saying, for instance, I've had people try to box me in a parking lot and try to fight me within the last year. I don't think it was because I was white. I think they knew who I was, religiously speaking. But I don't have any ill will towards them. I wish they would obey the gospel. I wish that Malvester would obey the gospel. Really put faith in Jesus Christ and get out of basically a message of hatred, which is message to the black man. And so tonight, when I called him a racist, he turned around and he said white folk are racist. I don't mean anything like what? I'm not using the N-word, but I'm saying his book says that we are white devils and cannot change. The book says that war with the whites is inevitable. In this book, it says that there is a UFO above the world. That's where Elijah Muhammad is. The only reason that that UFO was made was to destroy the world.
No.
That's what the book says.
Well, allow him to finish.
Now, he declared the doom of America and pointed out the UFO, and it says it was built for the purpose of destroying this present world. There is no hope. There's only hatred. There's only revenge. I'm saying for every man, white, black, in the Bible, whether you're the Ethiopian eunuch or whether you're a Jew or whether you're a white man in America, you put your faith in Christ, you obey the gospel, you can go to actual heaven beyond this world, which his book says does not exist, which also says the Bible is tampered with and is not true anymore.
All right, we do have a phone call. Tom, we're going to take this call because a caller has been holding patiently. Good evening, caller. Welcome to the show. Is she still there, Daniel? Can you see what's going on with line 3? We'll go to line 4. Hey, good evening, caller. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how y'all doing this evening?
Doing well. What's your question or comment for our guest?
Hey, Malvester, how you doing, sir?
Fine, sir. How you been?
I'm doing good. I spoke to you a few weeks ago, and I'd asked you if you had heard of that country in northwestern Africa called Mauritania. Did you happen to do any research on that? You told me you'd never heard of that country before.
No, I haven't.
Hey, that's the last country to abolish slavery in 1981. Is that country, Mauritania, is that ruled by, what's the major religion over there? Would it be Islam? I'm not for sure. Maybe you can teach me something.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that.
All right. Would you like me to spell it for you again? It's spelled M-A-U-R-I-T-A-N-I-E. Excuse me.
What is that?
M-A-U-R-I-T-A-N-I-A. Sorry. But slavery was abolished by that country in 1981 in Africa, and it was totally finished supposedly in 2007. I mean, how do you feel about that, sir?
Well, you know what?
Thoughts in regards about that?
You know what? In Africa, in the East, it wasn't Africa. A white conqueror went there and conquered that part and named it Africa, but the whole earth was Asia Minor, and in the East where all the prophets came from. So in the East, it was righteous people until the man of sin came in the world, right? But Caleb just talked about we talk about destroying the world. This Bible right here, this is King James Version. This Bible said from Genesis to Revelation that God was going to destroy this world.
Why are you quoting the Bible?
He said that he was going to destroy this world. That right there is clear in this book. In Revelation, it tells you to tell us to come out of her, my people. Who you think he's talking about when he says to come out of her, my people? You know, you talk about slavery. When he talking about slavery, in the East, slavery was not like what the Caucasians have done. They was like servants. They served the people. But when you talk about slavery in America, you talking about murder. You talking about rape. You talking about hanging people. You talking about killing people. And let me show you something.
How long is he
Let me show you something of what I'm talking about.
We'll let him finish his statement and then we'll allow you to talk.
Let me show you what I'm talking about. Look at this picture right here. Beam up on it and look at it. See what they did to a black man? They burned him up alive. Okay. You understand?
Right.
Who did that?
They didn't lynch white people.
And look at this man right here.
They didn't lynch any white people.
Look at this.
They didn't lynch any white people.
They
didn't lynch any white people, Malvester.
See, he ain't supposed to be talking right now.
That's not the rule.
And look at this picture right here. That's what they did to Jesus, didn't they? Didn't they do that to Jesus?
Yeah.
And look, you can't find nothing like that in the East where they did slaves like that.
Okay, so
and look at this right here.
I'm gonna have a black man
look at this right here, where
white
folks is lynching a little girl.
They didn't lynch white people.
What did they lynch her for?
They didn't lynch white people.
Why did they lynch her for?
They didn't lynch white people.
See the thing.
He's not going to answer that because we all know it's the truth.
Guys, now we're getting away. We are getting away from the conversation, but I need to do this because we're going to have to take a break.
I'm supposed to get 5 minutes.
No, that was 5 minutes for that segment.
His venom out, but now he don't want nobody to come and get an antidote for that.
Okay, let's do this. Hold on tight, guys, and we don't want you both. A viewer mentioned that it feels like you all are getting aggressive, so we. Aggressive conversation.
I want my 5 minutes.
Okay, you will get it. You will get it when we come back from the break.
Listen, see how unfair he is.
Okay, we're gonna end.
I haven't talked no 5 minutes. You talked. I didn't interrupt.
We're gonna have to end the conversation if it goes too far. Good evening, caller. Welcome to the show. We're gonna need to take a break, but go ahead. And turn your feed down, please.
Yes, I thought the program was supposed to be about the Nation of Islam and the Church of Christ. Seems like to me it's about the Nation of Islam and Martin Luther King, and I'm being a member of Martin Luther King's legacy. I think y'all are doing injustice, both of them, to Martin Luther King, because Martin Luther King.
I'm not speaking evil against Martin Luther King. Elijah Muhammad is. And then he tried to play off like that Martin Luther King was a Muslim.
Had nothing to do with the Nation of Islam.
He's absolutely right, and I have an article out of Jet magazine years ago where actually Martin Luther King.
Thank you so much, Mr. Grant. Good evening, caller. Welcome to the show. Hold on, please.
And I know.
Good evening, caller.
What that picture we had of Martin Luther King and
caller, are you there?
Have they put it up yet?
Yeah, they put it up.
Hello, caller, are you there?
Put it on the TV. Put the picture on TV where Martin Luther King. They did.
So I didn't get any time to respond to that.
Hold on, guys. Yes, good evening, caller. Welcome to the show. There's the picture.
There you go. See them great men from Georgia? Both of them from Georgia. You understand? They sit down and talk.
Okay, Minister
and that right there is showing you that the mountain went to Muhammad. And Martin Luther King was sitting on the top of the mountain of black folks. And when he came, and when Martin left, and he made that speech, said, I have been to the mountain. And that's when they seen that they had to kill Martin because Martin was now too dangerous. They couldn't control him no longer once he talked to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's the problem.
Minister Malvester, let's take a phone call real quick. Good evening, caller. Welcome to the show.
Yes. Yes, hey. Look at Malvester's tie and look at your shirt, sir. You're talking about a racial thing. You got a white shirt on, you not white.
All right.
Who is he talking to?
That's
okay.
That didn't even make sense.
So can I make a point now?
We'll allow you to make a point, and I've got to take a break.
Okay.
We're already extending the time.
We can't give him favor now because
but
he had favor all his life. He didn't have favor all his life. It's time for us to get favor.
Okay, we can't extend it. Can we take this last call? Good evening, caller. Welcome to the show.
So how are you doing today?
I am well. Go ahead. We need to make it quick.
I just wanted to say he was saying something about the Bible, about heaven and all that stuff, and about it not existing. Well, I mean, I just come to just defend that right there. That the title, the Bible, it says that that heaven and earth shall soon pass away, but His word shall stand. So the Bible, therefore, the Bible is saying it shall stand that way. So I'm just coming to defend where he said that the Bible has been tampered with. In some way it has, but not in the way that he put it.
All right, a closing statement, because we can't extend it. I'm going to allow both of you to please give a closing statement real quickly so we can end some way that will give some clarity to this entire conversation somehow. Go ahead, Minister Malvester, 1 minute. All right, hold on, Daniel, go ahead real quickly.
My thing is this, that Caleb is trying to use technology on people because of the fact that we have been tampered with and we have been made other than ourselves, and he used books, right, that we have been educated by, and then he used these people, you understand, to deceive us even further. But you got to understand one thing, we have been mistreated. And we have been educated by the people that mistreated us. And we have to understand that. We talk about taking the statues down, we talking all this. Let's take down the mind of this enemy that's destroying black people and white people. You understand? The education system is an enemy to both people. You understand? How can we ever come together when we are in a system where black people go and learn how to be white?
And that's our time.
And then white folks never learn how to be black.
Our time. Go ahead, Caleb, real quickly.
My final point would be, this book says even if you go to Harvard University and get your education, if you're not a Muslim, it's worthless. Now I'm saying, friends, I'm going to love everybody regardless of their color, because Jesus told me to be good to my neighbor. He told me individuals who would be hateful and do evil against me, I need to pray for them. But Message of the Black Man and Malvester Muhammad are saying, I have no hope, there is no heaven, the Bible cannot be trusted, and neither is Jesus your Savior. So, what hope do we have? I'm saying, even with he quotes the Bible is going to be tampered with. 1 Timothy chapter 6 says, men stealers don't go to heaven. So the slave owners didn't do a good job tampering with the Bible. It's just a hatred religion. It's basically trying to get revenge. And I'm saying, if we would get with what the Bible teaches, then we would say, it's okay, I'm headed to heaven.
On that note, we've got to go.
Anything more racist than the religion that we've been under, and we was Christians when we was in the field, when they were hanging us and beating us like I showed them pictures.
I tell you what we'll do.
We was Christians then.
At some point, and here's my final statement, and I'll mention this, but here's our final statement. I understand now, both of you guys clearly have opposing views. I don't think there'll ever be an even level to this conversation. It's good to have these discussions, but it's clearly never going to be a resolve. But I tell you what we will do, because we're getting so much response, we're going to work something out where the conversation will continue, because clearly you guys need more time, and there are people that certainly do have questions that have been involved. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to work that out maybe in the next 2 weeks or so for another conversation. Part 2, as always, as it seems that when both of these gentlemen have discussions, it goes on to part 2 and 3. But look, now, that's what I do appreciate. Have a good night, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the conversation tonight. See you soon.